What's up, guys? It's Lefty here, and by the title, you can tell we're discussing college hoops, specifically the NCAA March Madness tournament. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you'll be submitting a tournament bracket, entering some type of tournament pool, which there's tons of. I love this time of year. You can find some really good pools to enter, especially those random office pools with people that don't know much about college basketball. I'm not trying to enter a pool with a bunch of professional bettors or knowledgeable people. I'm asking my mother or my aunt if there's any office pools at work, finding those casual $20 entry pools for fun. Sign me up. I like to play. So in this video, I'm going to give you a few helpful tips that I use when filling out my brackets. I'm not going to go and talk too much about which teams to pick. That's going to be up to you to decide, but hopefully what I discuss in this video can help you make those decisions. Each pool or bracket contest has different scoring and rules, so I'm not going to go too in depth with bracket strategy, but rather try and explain some basic tips for picking teams to advance, which of course can also be used for general betting purposes. Now, the first thing to consider is know your opponent, and what this simply means is just know who's in your contest, how many people. If it's the ESPN pool with millions of contestants, then you'll want to have some variation with your pool or your selections, to separate yourself from the pack. If it's a small office pool, then you can play it a little safer, resist the urge to pick upsets. And this is an important factor here, upsets. You don't win anything for picking a 16 seed to beat a 1 seed or a 15 to beat a 2. Yeah, they can happen, but why bother attempting to predict something like that? When filling out my bracket, I like to start with the Elite Eight and kind of work around that. Rounds 1 and 2 usually don't matter all that much in the end. And, the points are worth less. And no matter how much time you dedicate to rounds 1 and 2, there's going to be all types of crazy upsets. The big points and how you win these tournaments come from the correct selections after the Sweet 16. When the points are worth more. So I don't try to go too crazy with predicting upsets. Even in the pools where, the scoring format counts upsets as double the points, I try to keep it simple. The teams that are favored are more likely to win. And when I say favored, I'm talking about the betting lines and not the seeds. So it's good to be aware of the betting lines, especially if you're looking for upsets. For example, the first game on Thursday, we have an 11 seed Michigan versus a 6 seed Colorado State. And Michigan is actually a 2-point favorite on the betting line, despite being, the higher seed at 11. Another one, 9 seed Memphis. They're favored by 2 points over the 8 seed Boise State. And, you can find some 11 seeds versus 6 seeds when, the betting line's basically a pick 'em. So use the betting lines to your advantage. Don't put too much stock into the team seed because the seeding committee, they know nothing compared to the odds makers who are, taking actual bets on the games. Now, another thing I like to consider is the location. All these games are technically neutral site games, which means neither team is at home, but sometimes by luck of the draw, teams get to play in their own backyard. Like, for example, a team like Wisconsin, they're going to be playing their first 2 games in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A team like Gonzaga, from Spokane, Washington, they could have their first 4 games, assuming they win, close to home. They won't even have to leave the Northwest with their first 2 games in Portland, Oregon, then Sweet 16 and Elite 8 in San Francisco. So location is big. Less travel for the team means more preparation time. Closer to home means more fan support. It's something worth paying attention to. Especially if you're looking for like a tiebreaker on games you're stumped on. Location can be kind of a deciding factor there. Now, another good tiebreaker for deciding which teams to pick to advance could be something as simple as, free throw shooting percentage. In a lose and your season is done format like this, teams won't give up easily at the end of games. They usually turn into free throw shooting contests. The team who makes their free throws, they're going to advance. I always think about those, talented Calipari-led Kentucky teams, all the talent in the world. They didn't do anything because they were a bunch of 60% free throw shooters. So now, of course, there's, more meaningful metrics you can factor in when evaluating teams and, strengths and weaknesses. But this is more for the casual fan who, just wants to try and submit a solid bracket and have a chance to win their pool. I actually have a complete college basketball breakdown and step-by-step video on how to create your own power ratings in an educational sports betting video course I'm working on. I'd say it's about 50% done now, It's going to be a complete A to Z sports betting educational video series broken down by sport. Hope to have that 100% completed in the next month or two. But a couple more things to look at with teams advancing. Upperclassmen. I want seniors and juniors. I feel much better backing teams with some seniors and juniors who may have tournament experience. Experience can often outweigh that talent, especially when it comes to the guard play. Point guards will have the ball the majority of the time in late game clutch situations. I prefer my guards to, have been there before the moment isn't too big. So ideally upperclassmen at the guard position or really just solid guard play. The floor general types. The kid from Nova there, Colin Gillespie, he comes to mind. And it's not really about the numbers or like points per game either. I'm talking more about leadership, not going to turn the ball over, make the right decisions. Another player like Remy Martin from Kansas, he's another one. I think he only averages like 7 points per game, but he does a lot, and that doesn't show up in the box score. So finishing up here, a couple more factors that are worth weighing for your selection process. Strength of conference. Teams coming from a tough conference, they're going to be more battle-tested, played better competition all year. This could be a simple tiebreaker. Just pick the team with the better conference. And lastly, when filling out your bracket, don't have all number one seeds in the Final Four. There's only been one Final Four which all four teams were number one seeds. I think it was in 2008, I want to say. Other than that, only 5 times. There's even been 3 number one seeds to make the Final Four. So I know it's tough when filling out your bracket to bounce a number one seed out. But if you filled out your bracket and you see that all 4 of your Final Four number one seeds, throw it out, do another one. It's easy to let those seedings control your thinking. Sometimes I actually like to fill out my bracket without the seedings visible. So, because they can kind of sway your thinking negatively. But I'm going to end here. Hopefully this information was helpful to help you guys cash your tournament bracket pool or whatever you enter. But until next time, good luck with all your bets.